All right. Happy Friday, everyone. The time is now 8:48 on Friday, July the 21st. It has been another hot day. Luckily, today was the last day for some of this high heat that we've been dealing with. Heading into the weekend, though, it is going to be on the other side of the platform, I guess you could really say. We're going from hot to stormy. We have a front that's coming through tonight, and early tomorrow morning, really, that's going to stall out over top of us, and that's going to bring the chance for some rain showers to be starting, especially on Saturday, but could linger around into Sunday as well. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Facebook everywhere. We're watching these complex of storms begin to move in. We are getting a batch of some storms ahead of the main line that's moving right now through portions of Macon and Peach County over into Houston County. Another cluster of storms in northern Crawford County that's about to clip into Macon-Bibb County, and these are about to cross over 75. But as I walk over to the radar here, we've got a lot more rain on the way. So if you have any questions, anything in the chat that you want to ask, definitely ask some questions. We're going to be keeping this live stream up for a little while just to track these storms as they're moving through. The good news right now is that on a wider view, notice there's a lot more rain behind it. Oh, I have the wrong thing pulled up, or that's kind of distracting. These are flash flood warnings that are in portions of the Atlanta metro. They've just been getting rained on for hours now as these storms are continuing to move. The good news is that a lot of this is raining itself out. Notice the lightning strikes have beginning to come down. So that's usually an indication that the storms are weakening. However, they're still dumping a lot of rain, and there's quite a lot of distance of some rain that are moving and diving down to the southeast. So hopefully these will remain severe free and not have any damaging winds or any hail. These storms, though, are definitely coming with some heavy downpours still. There's still areas up north of Atlanta that are having that red on the radar that's showing quite that heavy downpour. And that could be lingering around through the overnight hours tonight. Some of them might even begin to kind of form back together the farther south they kind of come in with that more hot and humid air mass that we've been dealing with for today. So I'm trying to pull up the Facebook now. If anyone's got any questions, love to answer. Hi, Sandra, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I'll just pull some of those. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch as well. Not all of middle Georgia is, but really for Houston County down towards Taylor County, over towards Lawrence County, and anywhere to the north, we have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 1 a.m. What this means is that the conditions are favorable for storms to become severe. This doesn't mean that we will have severe thunderstorms that will be happening, but the ingredients are there for when storms, if they fire up, they could produce some damaging winds or some hail. Usually when watches are issued, they're issued for several hours, and that's when you want to kind of have a plan. When a warning gets issued, that means that it's actually imminent or occurring right then and there. So right now that we have the watch that's issued, the line is about to move through, but it hasn't moved through quite yet. It's been moving very slowly, and everything has been behaving itself now because we don't have any of the warnings, but this is the main system that we were watching. It's been tracking through areas in the Tennessee Valley, northern Alabama, moving into North Georgia, and starting to head into our way. Notice it really is falling apart. You can see it was more defined here in Alabama, and then it kind of broke off down here. And then that means, so it's really losing some energy, so that is some great news. If we do see any rumbles of thunder tonight that produce some heavy downpours or some severe storms, the primary threat will be for damaging winds. Yesterday was, another active day for North Georgia. They had several power outages. Some storms were there yesterday. I just had damaging winds with several storm reports with down trees and power lines that can create power outages. So that could be the case again tonight. Hopefully not, so that we can stay mostly dry and keep things going through the overnight hours. And then this unsettled activity will linger around through the weekend. Some of the future model here, or at least one of the models, is showing that this kind of continues. Oh, it's not working. That sucks. It might not be loading. No? That's interesting. Why won't you work? Sometimes the computers just hate me. That's interesting. It actually might not be out far enough. That could be an issue. It's just so new. With this particular model, there's new ones that come out every hour. I think that this is going to be the latest model run, and it's only generated the first hour or so, so it has that first initial, but it doesn't have the rest of them yet because it hasn't come through the computer system. Just a little weather fact for you there. But tonight is definitely going to be a good idea to stay weather aware. Even heading to bed, we still could get those rumbles of thunder past midnight. Let me see if I can pull up a different model to see if this will work in a different way. Let's see if this one will do anything different for us. Not that one. This one's showing some stuff. So this is showing about at around 9 o'clock. This is about, let's say 10 o'clock. See, this particular model, a few of them are showing that as this heads farther to the south and east, it could begin to spark up some more storms rather than some of just the rain showers that we may be getting. And then it's pushing out of here by 12, 1 o'clock. And then heading into tomorrow, this is going to be stalled out front, so we do keep it more unsettled. This is showing around 12 o'clock. We get some storms south of Macon, but really I think anybody could see a few rumbles of thunder tomorrow. Sunday looks to be the better of the 2 days. We will stay mostly dry, but there will be a few chances for some pop-up storms, mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, it's going to be a relatively dry day. But the bigger news is that it's really not going to be as hot tomorrow. So that is some great, lovely news. Is that we've been dealing with the heat all week. We had weather warn days Monday through Friday for the feels like temperatures making it well into the triple digits. This weekend, we're not anywhere close to that. Saturday may be up there at 97, but then we're into the low 90s for the second half of the weekend. But the heat does begin to ramp up as we head towards next week. So at least it'll be seasonably warm this weekend. It's not going to be too bad in terms of the heat. And if you have any outdoor plans, I wouldn't cancel any of your outdoor plans. But of course, when you hear that rumble of thunder, we're going to want to go indoors right away. So here's some of the storms that are moving through middle Georgia right now. These are ahead of that kind of main broad line of storms, getting absolutely hammered right now in northern Macon County, southern Peach, and now towards Houston County and Perry Marshallville, right along 75. Lots of lightning. This is probably some blinding rain as well. If you're ever driving through blinding rain and you have your blinkers on and you want to pull over to the side, try to get off at an exit. It's a little safer than just pulling off right off the highway. An exit is always the best place to kind of chill and wait for the storm to pass over you. So this is some heavy downpours right here moving along 49, just south of Fort Valley. Could be getting some of those. You probably hear the rumbles of thunder off in the distance, but over towards Reynolds, Potterville, over down into Taylor County, getting some of these more moderate downpours. This one cell that's right now that's moving through Crawford County and now into Macon-Bibb County. Musella just got the heavy downpour, a little bit drier now, moving towards Lizella, Lake Toposofkee, and this is going to continue to move right across 75 through Macon-Bibb County. So it's going to be pretty active. Let's see if I can pull up the camera really fast. Might be able to get a good shot of some of these cameras that's going. Is this working? Is this working? Is this on? I think it is on, but I was talking about the live stream onto the app. Hi Travis, how are you doing today? Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well. If anyone's got any weekend plans that they'd love to share, I'd love to hear them as well. So the sun hasn't quite set yet, so that's a good sign. Let me pull up the camera so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. That says over Mercer. This is not over Mercer. This is in Macon right now. The storm is off to the west, so I gotta kind of flip it around completely 180 degrees. Ooh, I heard the rumble of thunder here at the station. Here we go. So there's kind of the clouds. This is looking off to the west-northwest. Definitely some dark clouds over there. You can even see some of these clouds starting to bubble up. This is that one cluster of thunderstorms that just kind of is moving through northeastern Crawford County and moving across state county lines into Macon-Bibb County. So pretty cool to look at that. And we're kind of in the calm before the storm at this moment, before some of the more of those stronger, heavier downpours will be funneling their way through from North Georgia down into our area. We even have the severe thunderstorm warning. This is into Alabama, so this is Columbus. Here's where middle Georgia is. Here's Taylor County, Butler, Columbus. This is one severe thunderstorm that's moving across Alabama. This is heading to the southeast, so it may not make it over into Taylor County. Hopefully it won't, and hopefully it'll also weaken as it heads further to the east into our direction. But this really isn't headed as a bullseye right towards us, but it is generally heading to the south and east, so that's something we'll keep an eye on. But really the main kind of concern with all this is going to be upriver North Georgia. But it is, really some good news is that there isn't a lot of lightning with this anymore. Heading into today, we did have a level 2 for severe risk out of 5. That means we generally could see scattered storms turn severe. However, we're really not seeing those right now. Not a lot of lightning, so that is some great news. Take off that warning sign for you. These are flash flood warnings. Areas near the Atlanta metro have just been getting hit with rain over and over again, and when you get these heavy downpours, there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, so when these storms fire up, they can drop a lot of rain in a short amount of time, and it's been like just stuck over downtown Atlanta and the metro, so that's why they have flash flood warnings there. I'm not sure exactly how much rain they could have potentially gotten, but you know, when there's a flash flood warning, that a lot of rain has fallen in a short amount of times could cause some ponding in the roads. You never want to drive through flooded waters on the roads either. It's very easy for your car to lose traction, and it's really hard to tell how deep the water is, so never drive into flooded roads. But this is the main part of our evening with all of these downpours, not a lot of lightning. So a lot of good news. There's this one spell that's a little rogue that's heading towards Lamar County, down towards Thomaston and Upson County. But generally, hopefully this will stay weak like this. It does have the potential to fire back up the further south and east that it goes. But that's going to be, this is going to be the main action driver, and it's even headed a little further east. This is a little fast. I don't like when it goes this fast. Let's make that a little bit slower. Notice there was a lot of lightning earlier, especially over Atlanta here. There was a lot of lightning. It's rained this is just a loop of the past hour, but it's been raining over Atlanta at least for the last hour with some of those heavy downpours. Notice though, as this is heading towards the east, it's really losing its structure and its power. Not a lot of lightning strikes left. So that is some really nice news. And some of the leading edges of this, that's usually where the most powerful of the storms are, right at the front of the storms. You can see a little bit of a gust front coming out of that. Notice this little line right there, a little bit of a gust front coming out from these storms. Now, if this does interact with some of these storms down here, that could cause some issues. Usually, if the gust front, it kind of is like a burst of wind out ahead of the storm. You know, when there's a storm headed your way, you get the wind picking up, and then you get the heavy downpours and the frequent lightning. Now, if this gust front interacts with some of these storms down here, they could combine and they could produce a pretty strong thunderstorm with that. So hopefully these will continue to move away from this main line so they don't interact. But really in the next kind of cross hairs of some of these storms into portions of Butts County, Jasper County, just starting to enter into those counties, even towards Griffin. This is a little bit of that rogue heavier storm that's moving towards Lamar County. So these will be moving from the northwest to the southeast over the next few hours. Let's see if we can check how fast these are moving. So at the start of this, or right now, we have it down here like this. An hour ago, the storms were pretty far away actually. Let me grab the squiggly one. I'll go like this. So how far away is this? It's about 80 miles. These were moving pretty quickly then. Yeah, it's filling in pretty rapidly. So that means if we can put a little bit of a tracker out here over the next while, oh, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. I didn't hear that. I need to put my sound on for this. So over the next hour and a half or so, this is some of the times of these storms. We do have that one severe thunderstorm warning. I'll get right to that in a second. But Shadydale at 9:04, Monticello 9:09, Forsyth at 9:17, Gray at 9:32, Milledgeville at 9:34, Macon 9:38, Warner Robins 9:52, Montezuma 10 o'clock, Cochran 10:14, Vienna 10:20, Cordele 10:29, and Eastman 10:31. So this is generally where the first time that you could hear a rumble of thunder or get some of the rain over your area. It won't be exactly like this, but that is generally the case for some of that rain that could be heading over your area with that main storm that's up into North Georgia. But now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for this one cluster of storms that's down in Houston County right now. Let me turn on the sound so I can hear what's going on. Oh, it just got issued 1 minute ago. I can hear myself. So here's this severe thunderstorm warning. This is for portions of Houston County, Macon County, and Peach County. This is in effect until 9:30, so about another 25 minutes. This is for the radar indicating winds of 60 miles per hour, along with less than a quarter size hail, about 3/4 inch size hail, around marble size hail. So this is for extremely heavy downpours right now. Anyone in Perry, you're getting absolutely hammered with this heavy downpour, frequent lightning right along 75. This is Marshallville. This is some extremely heavy rainfall right now with some of that severe thunderstorm warning. So you can see it building in here over the east. Now this is south of Warner Robins, Bon Air, but this is still going to be a storm be heading further to the east. So if you live in this area, you definitely want to be taking shelter. Anytime during the summer that you hear the rumble of thunder, you see those dark clouds, you really want to get inside right away so that you don't have to be outside or getting any of the risk for potentially getting struck by lightning. So always a good idea to come inside when you hear the rumble of thunder. And even better is the download the WGXA SKYWATCH weather app. It's really coming along with some of the great features. The app even tells you specifically when you have watches and warnings over you. It doesn't give it for every location, so you can put in your one spot, know exactly what you need to know, and it'll even tell you, you can check it for the radar, the temperature, so it really has everything that you need weather-wise. Always a good idea to download that. But right over Perry right now, right along 75, Moss Oak, Clopine, right along towards 41, 341. These is heavy downpours. Let's see what the radar could be indicating what this rainfall rate could potentially be. This is showing the radar is potentially saying about 3 inches per hour. That is definitely that blinding rain. It's raining so hard that you can't see very far in front of you. It's definitely pretty dangerous to be driving on this. I did say this earlier, but if you're driving in some blinding rain and you want to pull over, try to pull over onto an exit. It's always a safer option, and never park under the ramps either. That can be really dangerous for the oncoming traffic. You want to pull over and wait for the storm to pass before going over, and try to get off at an exit rather than right off at the highway. Let's see if the radar is also indicating any kind of hail with this storm specifically. Yeah, so there is a hail core that's definitely in this. This could potentially be marble-sized hail that is moving right through Perry. So anyone in Perry right now, you could have some hail that's headed your way. After the storm moves through, if you live in this area and you see any hail, take some pictures and send it to me, or anyone. Go to wgxa.tv/chime in, or just send it to me on our Facebook or Twitter. And I could show it here on TV, but it's always pretty awesome to see pictures. Wait until the storm is past. Don't go out right now. Once it's safe and that warning has ended, the rain has ended, then you can go outside and take a picture of some of the hail or any kind of the damage that you see. It's always great to get some damage reports out. Those are also pretty important. So let me check the Facebook again. No one has said anything. If you're here and on Facebook you want to say hello, I would love to also interact with you. Let me see. Storm Prediction Center. Okay. So we still have that level 2 risk under us for the rest of tonight. This is for that scattered thunderstorms. Let's see, we do have rainfall totals. This updates every hour. This updated at 7 o'clock. Not still a lot showing off. I bet as we get further into the evening, these numbers will start to climb up. It'll update again at 10, so we'll have to look back at that when it updates. Maybe in terms of some of the wind gusts, we might have gotten a gusty wind. Sparta had a wind gust of about 27 miles per hour since 9 o'clock. So it will be interesting to see how these numbers change as we get further into the evening tonight with some of these storms to be rolling around. Let's check our model again. Is that working? It's working much better now. So this is one of the particular models, specifically usually does well with convective activity. That usually means like the pop-up summertime storms rather than a big system. So this is showing pretty well right now. We've got that one cluster of storms right now that's over Peach and Houston County. That's our severe storm, but a lot more rain showers off to the north and east. So that's showing some pretty nice modeling. Notice though, this model is showing that it's going to completely fall apart. Then a front moves through tomorrow morning, and that'll give us more activity for tomorrow during the day. But this is showing some great signs that that one strong storm that's in southern Houston County pushes off to the east, and then that's really the rest of the rain. It kind of falls apart. I think we will see more rain, especially if your areas north of Macon. You're going to get some of that stratiform rain that's coming down from North Georgia. But that one severe thunderstorm is really what we're watching for right now. That severe thunderstorm does continue for Houston, Macon, and Peach counties until 9:30. It's currently 9:08. So we got another 22 minutes of that coming along. But even if you aren't under a severe thunderstorm warning, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch for the areas issued. This means that the conditions are favorable for severe storms to be forming. We have that one out there right now. And that's when you're going to have action. Know that place in your home where you want to keep an eye on, just in case if any warnings do get issued over your area. And so, okay. So some new things are coming out from the National Weather Service. We still have a strong thunderstorm will impact portions of southern Twiggs, northwestern Bleckley, and east central Houston counties until 9:45. So let's go back and look at the radar because we're getting some new updates from the National Weather Service. I got a little ping on my phone that said it's going to start raining here in 5 minutes. So here's what the radar looks like right now. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to take that off really fast, turn on the lightning. There's this one cell right now that's moving through areas in Macon-Bibb County, 1 or 2 rumbles of thunder. This isn't the main kind of activity right now, but it's raining over Macon, Lizella towards Rutland. But here's that severe thunderstorm warning, southern Houston County, Macon, Peach counties until 9:30. All the lightning that's down there and over towards Butler. You're also getting some pretty heavy downpours, a few lightning strikes as well. Up towards into Wilkinson County, Gordon, Ivy getting a good downpour. No rumbles of thunder with this, which is some great news. And we're still watching for more of these storms to be sinking through the south. These ones are really taking their time, starting to move into Jasper County now. A few rumbles of thunder with this. Jackson getting a bit of a downpour. Over towards Griffin, they're getting a few rumbles of thunder as well. That's heading down towards Lamar County, towards the south and east. But otherwise, things aren't too bad. So this is really some great news. This also severe thunderstorm warning that's in Alabama. It's still heading towards the south and east, but it's not heading directly east. So this might clip portions maybe down towards Sumter County. Otherwise, we'll watch this as this further heads east, if it'll hold together with some of the power that it does now. But I'm even hearing some of the rumbles of thunder here at the station. But this is really the big line right now. Let's see if the radar still is indicating any kind of hail with this. It is still indicating hail, so there still could be marble-sized hail directly over Perry right now. You could be getting some hail. You definitely want to be inside. Try to stay away from the windows as well when we have severe thunderstorm warning, because not only the hail and the heavy downpours or the lightning, there can also be some damaging winds that can knock down trees or power lines. So definitely a good idea to stay inside. Try to get away from the windows anywhere in this polygon. Kathleen, Sandbed, Clinchfield, Moss Oak, Perry, Clopine, Marshallville, anywhere. If you live in this area, you definitely want to stay inside right now. For all of this heavy downpours, you're absolutely getting those rain showers right now. Quite a bit of some lightning. Let's see if we can pull up some of the wind structure of the storm. So we're able to dive deep past some of the rain. The radar has the technology to see some of the wind structure of this. So there's definitely no rotation with this. We're not going to have to worry about any kind of tornadoes. But notice, especially these brighter greens, that's the winds becoming stronger towards the radar site. So let's see what exactly the radar could be indicating here. So this is saying right here in this area, just south of Kathleen, north of Sandbed, could have a wind gusting up to about 56 miles per hour. That definitely could down a tree or a power line. So that's why it's really important to take these warnings seriously, to stay inside. You really don't want to be out here in the elements or anywhere near any windows. Those are always the first to go when you have some damaging winds. And it'd be just safer inside altogether. Even areas that are pinged directly over Perry, this is having winds up to 30 miles per hour. This isn't exactly what's happening, but this is a good indication of the radar showing that there are some strong signs of fast, damaging winds right now in the area in southern Houston County especially. So we got that new radar loop. Let me see if I can re-query this to see exactly where this is. I'm going to go over towards these blues where some of the stronger winds could potentially be. So Houston Lake up to about 57 miles per hour. Moody Road, 120, is that 127? 127, Kathleen, Houston Lake, Moody Road, King Chapel Road towards Perry as well. These are some strong winds. There could be quite some damage in this area with this storm moving through, producing winds up to 60 miles per hour. So that could easily knock down a tree or power line. Definitely want to be inside this time. GA Highway 247 south as well. Definitely want to be into your shelter, just away from the windows, so that if anything is going to be breaking with the windows, you definitely don't want to be near that. So there could be another strong thunderstorm that's moving through Montgomery and Wheeler County. It's a little farther to the south and east. That's not a severe thunderstorm, but that is potentially another strong storm that's moving through. So let's get a wider view of exactly what's happening right now. Ooh, I'm hearing the rumbles of thunder now. So they were saying down here, this is the one thunderstorm that they're watching in portions of Montgomery and Wheeler County towards Vidalia. McRae, not really getting rain. Not everyone is seeing the rain right now. We have really one strong storm through areas in Houston County that we're just looking at. Even through Macon-Bibb County, getting a little bit of some rain. Just definitely heard the rumbles of thunder. Not getting a lot of rumbles with here in Macon, though. Another small cell in Wilkinson County, but towards the north, that's where more rain will be arriving. Luckily, still not showing a whole lot of lightning with this, so that is definitely some good news. Definitely is producing some downpour, some heavy soaking rains that's moving through areas in North Georgia, and this will continue to head south. It is taking its time. It is moving very slowly. Let's loop this over the past 3 hours or so. Put it on a slow loop. Sometimes it goes really fast. So this is over the past 3 hours. Can really see the rain start to fill in over North Georgia. It is heading pretty far directly east. I think it will still sag to the south a little bit. So that is some good news, is that we could potentially even miss out on most of the bulk of this action if it continues to head towards the east. There are still storms, though, that are kind of diving towards the south, especially through areas near Butts and Lamar County that kind of interacted with some of this gust front, fired up a storm that was moving over Rover and towards 75. Towards Griffin, that was the name. I couldn't remember that for some reason. Towards Griffin, High Falls State Park, towards Monroe County. About to get some of this stuff. And you see that line? Notice as the storm gets closer, this line of green right here, that's the gust front, and it impacted with some of those storms that were moving in from the west, and then that fired up another storm that's right now moving through Griffin. So that's kind of seeing that in action with that gust front moving through, interacting with another thunderstorm, provides extra lift, can get those storms to be taller, to be higher, to be more powerful, and create more of those lightning strikes, and then also can produce more hail if we get enough updrafts. How hail is actually formed, it's a summertime weather pattern for hail to be forming very high, very high up in the clouds. It's actually frozen up there. The temperatures are so cold that the rain is ice and it's snow potentially. So when you get these very strong updrafts, the rain is trying to fall out of the clouds, but when you get the powerful thunderstorms, they have updrafts and they go higher and higher into the atmosphere. If they're powerful enough, that ice that is very high in the clouds, it goes back up into the top of the cloud and collects more ice onto it. It goes back up, collects more ice, and it's kind of like rolling out a snowball, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like that, but it goes up, and the pieces of ice goes back up and back down and back up, and it collects more ice particles until it's too heavy, and then it eventually falls out of the cloud as that pellet of ice or hail. So that's kind of how hail forms, and it's definitely a summertime thing because you have that powerful thunderstorms for hail to really be forming most of the time, at least. So we got let's see what the National Weather Service has said. That is nothing for us, so that's great. That severe thunderstorm watch does continue. So yeah, it is now 9:17. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning at some portions of Houston, Macon, and Peach County, specifically right now over Houston County. Areas near Perry, Kathleen, you're getting the heavy downpours, potentially some marble-sized hail. You definitely want to be inside along 75. This is going to continue to head towards the east, over towards Bleckley County. Potentially could be raining over Hawkinsville, getting some of this heavy downpour, frequent lightning. And this specific warning is until 9:30. Almost most likely could be extended with how much lightning. Wow. That was pretty funny. You love to see when that happens. As I was saying it, they extended the severe thunderstorm warning now in portions of Bleckley County, still into Houston County, now gets into Twiggs County and Pulaski County as well. So Bleckley County, southern Twiggs County, very far north of Pulaski County, and portions still of Houston County. So that one, this second one is in place until 9:45, again, with those damaging winds, the potentially for that marble-sized hail. That is so great, though. I love when that happens. That is really funny. So that is some news that we're still following with that. That's going to be the big storm that we're keeping an eye on from 9:30 until 9:45. That's the one storm that's really packing a punch right now, just absolutely hammering. So let's zoom down onto street level once again. We'll get rid of the lightning so we can really see some of these cities. So this is some of the heaviest downpours right now, still over Perry, Kathleen, Houston Lake, Clinchfield, Sandbed, even getting some of this purple on the radar or that blue. That is the extreme heavy downpour of rain. So this is definitely packing a punch with some of these storms. This could even be causing some damaging winds, knocking down trees, knocking down power lines. If you live even in the second polygon now, some of the cities in here, Bonaire, Tarversville towards Coley, Cary. See if I can zoom in a little bit more, see if we can get any more towns on here. Cochrane, you're also in this, and Goldsboro. If you live in these areas, you definitely want to be staying inside. This is a pretty strong, severe thunderstorm that is headed right into your direction. Some heavy downpours over our area at this current moment. So let's see, we got something new from the, so now the focus has shifted as well over portions of Butts, Lamar, Monroe County, and Upson County for the storms that are moving through from North Georgia. Here's some of that line of storms that's coming from North Georgia. This one specifically that we've been watching, that rogue storm that interacted with that gust front. Now moving towards Barnesville, southern portions of Butts County. This is going to head towards Forsyth in Monroe County as well into Upson County near Thomaston. Could get some of these heavy downpours of the rain. So let me zoom this back out one more time. So here's kind of a wider view of exactly what's happening. I'm going to loop this over the past 2 hours. All right, perfect. I'm going to grab a drink of water really fast. I'm going to leave this up for you just to keep looking at. Those two, I guess now, severe thunderstorm warnings, that's definitely the big area. Otherwise, it is still going to be a pretty active night. We even could get some lingering thunderstorms really for the rest of our Friday, and even through the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning, a front is going to be moving through, and that's what's going to make some more unsettled activity for Saturday. It's not going to be a washout of a day on Saturday or Sunday, but it is going to cause some thunderstorms and activities to be popping up. Saturday looks to be the more active of the 2 days. Sunday looks to be a little more dry. Could get some storms still, though, bubbling up in the afternoon, a few pop-ups. Oh, water, truly a great thing on a night like tonight. Do you like my water bottle, by the way? It's like a woodsy theme. If anyone's a big Disney fan, I'm wearing my Disney tie. It's from the Wilderness Lodge. Just to give you some of that action there. Okay, so that severe thunderstorm warning, those two now, again for some of these times. The path in the areas with these storms, specifically Houston, Macon, Peach counties, most of Macon and Peach counties are almost the storms passing you by now. I still would stay inside, definitely don't want to be outside in this right now, but especially Houston County, even Warner Robins getting some of the heavy downpours, but Perry, Kathleen, heading towards heading into Bleckley County, southern Twiggs County, and northern Pulaski County specifically for those. So they did also just kind of cut some of that off. They cut off now for it just to be in Houston County with this first storm, but that storm is really packing a punch right now. So now you can, areas of Macon and Peach County, you're in the clear for this severe storm, now shifting right over southern Houston County. Really some heavy downpours, frequent lightning moving through right now. Still hearing a little bit of some thunder here at the station as well. So let's get this back off again. Let's see what the hail could be looking like. So there's still quite a good amount of hail core potentially in the storm areas just east of Perry now. Getting about a half-inch size hail, so about penny-sized hail still south of Bonaire. But really anyone in this path of the storm could be seeing some small hail developing with that damaging wind threat up to 60 miles per hour. So if you even know anyone in this area, give them a call, tell them that there's a pretty powerful storm heading their way and they really want to get inside, get away from the windows. And hopefully there's not too many power outages happening right now. That's not going to be a great thing. But that severe thunderstorm watch does continue. Hopefully we won't see much severe weather after this, especially once this one storm begins to kind of rain out the atmosphere. Hopefully it loses the ingredients, especially as this one is moving through now into still Houston County, Southern Twiggs, and towards Pulaski County. But the severe thunderstorm watch is issued for everywhere in pink until 1 a.m. This means that the conditions are favorable for those storms to be turning severe with the damaging winds or the large hail. Doesn't mean that you'll see a warning over you, but that the conditions are possible for them to be forming in those areas. So let me show you some of the model data once again as this is moving through. The rest of tonight, this specific model is showing that everything really falls apart by 1 a.m. So this would be great if this happens. It means we're not going to have to worry about storms through the overnight hours, but a front will be moving through tomorrow. So early on Saturday, waking up tomorrow morning, we could get some more heavy downpours to be moving through with this front, and it's going to stall it over top of us. I think this model is slightly overpainting this amount of rain for tomorrow morning. I think we will have some scattering and some thunderstorms, but not everyone's going to get hit with some of the rain. And then heading into the evening, we could get one more burst of some downpours that's moving through. So tomorrow is a bit more of an active day. Sunday looks to be more dry. It's not going to be a complete washout really either one of the days, but it is going to be on the more active side, but at least we're knocking off the heat. Feels like temps won't be anywhere near the triple digits for the weekend. We'll be back more to more seasonable levels with the weather in terms of the temperatures, so that is some good news with that. Some storm reports are coming in. Let's see if we can see some of the storm reports that have been put out so far. So these are some of the storm reports that have been issued so far today. Most of them have been with that cluster of storms that we're still watching that was moving through the Tennessee Valley and northern Alabama, now into North Georgia, and we're starting to get that in middle Georgia here, that line of storms that's coming through. Like most of it isn't severe right now, so that is still some great news. But still is a very active evening with those severe thunderstorm warnings that continue for Houston County, Bleckley County, Pulaski County, and Twiggs County until 9:30 and 9:45 p.m. tonight. So this one in Houston County, I think, well, they have the secondary one still in place. So Perry, you're starting to get up in the clear now. You still have quite a few lightning strikes out there, but this is now moving over Bonaire. It's starting to exit Houston County and now moving into this area, kind of connecting Twiggs, Pulaski, and Bleckley County. That's what's all going to be linked up here with the strong thunderstorm that could be producing those damaging winds or that small hail as well. So it definitely is a good idea to stay weather aware for the rest of tonight, as any of these storms could still turn severe. There's still a few pop-up storms right now. Not everyone's getting hit. Areas further to the south and east, just south of McRae, towards Mount Vernon, getting a little bit of a heavy downpour. Uvalde, getting some of these storms as well. And we have this downpour that's been moving through Macon, now into Dry Branch, moving into northern Twiggs County. This other one that was near Gordon and Ivy and Wilkinson County, now moving over McIntyre and Irvington. Not a lot of lightning with that one either, but a few strikes still. And then we're still watching the line of storms to the north and east. They'll still be coming on through, now moving further into Jasper County, starting to edge into Putnam County. The one strong storm with that gust front, that rogue storm, still now over Lamar County, Barnesville, starting to head into Monroe County, High Falls State Park, Forsyth, Jackson, getting a little bit of this heavy downpours as well. So that's really what's going on weather-wise. Let's look specifically at that one thunderstorm again, because this one is just going crazy. It's going berserk. Let's see if we can look at the winds again, the wind structure of the storm. This can really tell us potentially how far the winds could be moving. So those winds could be gusting pretty high. So here's some of the wind structure. Let's see if we can get a few counties on this. Still looks to be a pretty heavy gust of wind moving through Bon Air right now. Let's see what the radar could be indicating. Winds up to about 50 miles per hour, so that brighter green, almost near that blue color, starting to show that the winds are really howling out there. Could be downing those trees and the power lines, so stay weather aware. You really do want to take this storm seriously, especially with all the lightning that's out there as well. It's just producing tremendous amounts of lightning moving through. Okay, so it's 9:29 right now on Friday, July 21st. Let's see how the storm begins to pan out over the next 15 minutes or so. This one severe thunderstorm is now starting to exit out of Houston County, still over Bon Air, Kathleen, down towards Elko, Hawkinsville. You're about to hear the rumbles of thunder. Cochran getting some of the moderate downpours, and this is all shifting further over to the east. So anyone, if you live in this polygon, you really do want to take the storm seriously. It looks like even a little bit is kind of bulging down towards the south, towards Hawkinsville. Notice here, we're getting a little bit of that bowing right towards the south. It's digging down towards Hawkinsville. And that's where it's continuing to push to the south and east. So Hawkinsville, you could get hit with some of these storms that are moving through. You are not under the severe thunderstorm warning, but even outside of a warning, any of the storms that are producing right now could really produce some heavy downpours, that frequent lightning strike, the rumbles of thunder. So it definitely is quite an active night. I think we're going to go ahead, see how the storm begins to play out over the next 15 minutes with the storm that's been coming through. So let's give this back for an update at around 9:45. Let's take about 15 minutes to see how the storm plays out at around 9:45. And once this warning continues to be issued, we'll see how this begins to play out. If it's gonna, it might still hold together. There might even be a second warning that's gonna be issued possibly further south into Pulaski County towards Hawkinsville. Could be entirely over Bleckley County, even towards Dodge County. So that's what we're keeping an eye on here. I'll move this out of the way so that you can read that. And we will be back for an update around 9:45. All right, hi everyone. They did just update that warning again, so I want to come on and say just what's happening with that, what exactly is going on. So now we've got a new update. It's really for extending that one severe thunderstorm warning that we've been watching that's moving through southern Houston County, portions of southern Twiggs County, Pulaski County, Bleckley County, and now it's extending down for Dodge County just to the western edge of Lawrence County and the southern edge of Wilkinson County. So that's really what's going on now. This storm is really having a history of producing some small hail, marble-sized hail, but also some damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. The secondary warning that was now issued is now in effect until 10:15, so that's another half an hour or so of that severe thunderstorm warning being issued. And just because the storm right now is so powerful that they just issued it out for being longer that it's moving through, just so that they could really cover the area that this is moving through. So let's once again kind of go down to exactly where this area is. Still is producing a ton of lightning. This is still, there's kind of almost two separate warnings that they've got going on. They still have this one that's issued for kind of Houston County. This is now exiting out of Perry, Bonaire, but then another cluster of some strong storms moving over Hawkinsville right now, especially towards Cochran, Cary. You're all in the crossfires of some of these extremely heavy downpours with the heavy rumbles of thunder. Could be producing those damaging winds that are knocking down trees and power lines, or even some small hail as well. Areas in Perry, if you live here, you're now out of this warning once it begins to stop raining. If you have any pictures, if there was any hail that was actually falling, definitely tag us on social media. Send it even using the Chime In tab on our website. We'd love to see some of these pictures, but make sure that it's safe. The warning has been issued for you. Even make sure that it stopped raining or any kind of rumbles of thunder. Definitely don't want to go outside until it is completely safe to do so. But this is still that one really strong storm that we're keeping a very close eye on. Still does have some hail that's being indicated by the radar. Just this area just to the east of Bonaire, even a little bit happening just north of Hawkinsville, west of Cochran. This doesn't mean that this is happening for sure, but just that the radar is indicating it, and still pretty surprising that it's indicating this much hail still. So let's go back some time, maybe be able to draw in. Usually where we get the largest hail, that would be where the storm is the strongest. So going back in time, looking at this storm, definitely had a pretty good history of producing some hail. It looks like it peaked right around Perry, right here around 9:15, about a half an hour ago, but still has some history of producing some hail. So that is some interesting stories. So you got definitely a much wider view as some of this storm is bowing a little bit. It's moving to the north and to the south. Let's see if I can play this back over the last 2 hours. Notice as it fills in, we're getting some kind of separation. It's not exactly moving east. We're getting some kind of these leading out edges moving through here. Let me pause this and see exactly what's kind of going on. You can see, oh, look at this. This is kind of cool. So notice right here, we had another kind of outflow boundary that moved right out of that specific thunderstorm. And notice there's a secondary kind of area of some rain that's falling. It combined with that, and it kind of continued to head over towards the east. This is right over the radar site where that cone of silence would be. So still some heavy downpours right now just south of Jeffersonville along 16, Danville, Chester, just west of Dexter and Dudley. Hawkinsville also in the severe thunderstorm warning. Pretty cool to see some of this stuff happening on the radar. Definitely filled in, especially to the areas north here. You can see some of these areas also heading down in this direction, but the rain extends all the way further out here, starting to creep into Lawrence County for that heavy downpours and that extreme wind. Yeah, so I want to go back onto a wider view now. We still have some storms area wide as well. Not everyone's seeing the rain, but a few pop-up storms. We're watching that one severe thunderstorm that's moving in through Alabama. This one is heading further to the south, so it likely will be passing through it could impact areas in Sumter County heading down. We'll have to see if that holds through as we get closer to time, but especially the area for the areas in North Georgia, notice really not any more lightning out here. This is moving almost directly due east, so this could be clipping still areas in Putnam, Hancock County, but a lot of this is heading pretty much due east. But at this point, these storms aren't even producing lightning, so that's definitely some good news. And then we have the one kind of cluster of some storms. We were talking about that rogue one that was moving through Lamar County, now is moving south over Forsyth at this point, Juliet, Bolingbroke, Culloden, just east of Thomaston as well, producing some of these heavy downpours. This one is not severe. We had a little bit of a downpour here in Macon, still moving through southern Jones County, getting some of these heavy downpours just north of Jeffersonville, moving into Wilkinson County, Gordon, Ivy, Dry Branch, getting some of the heavy rain. So it is definitely a very active evening, moving towards Oconee now. We can move specifically onto this cell. Oconee, this is into Washington County, Johnson County. Here's Wrightsville, Harrison. Could be getting some of these storms too that are heading pretty far due east. Let's go a little farther to the south. We got a few pop-up storms in areas near Crisp County, Araby, Cordele, Rochelle, Abbeville, getting a little bit of a downpour, even towards Milan, McRae, further east of Jacksonville, up near Lumber City. Could even be getting some of these heavy downpours. So it's a pretty active night. Hopefully this will be our only big warning that we're keeping an eye on. Then we won't have to worry about too much severe weather for the rest of tonight, especially when we're taking a wider look. Can definitely see that a lot of the rain that could be waiting in the wings, even though a lot of this is heading eastward, is not severe at this point. So that is definitely some great news for this. Okay. But yeah, still really keeping an eye on this. So as this played out, so now the area, anyone in Houston County now, you have been taken off the warning, as it's now really shifted over towards areas in Twiggs County and Bleckley County, northern Pulaski County, north portions of Dodge County, even western portions of Lawrence County. So this is all for that heavy downpours and for that wind threat. That's really going to be the biggest threat here over the next few hours. These really can cause some big issues. Specifically, when we look through the wind structure, the brighter the color, usually the stronger the winds. Now this isn't necessarily what's happening, but let's try to go through an area that's pretty bright here, just south of District Path. Here's I-16, here's Cary Road, there's Tarversville, and 96. So let me see what the radar could be indicating the winds here. This is up to 45 miles per hour, so that's actually the lowest that I've seen. So that's some good news, possibly could be an indication that these storms are beginning to rain themselves out, but they still could really cause quite a few issues if you do live in these polygons for the severe thunderstorm warning. This specific path of this cell has really been producing winds up to 60 miles per hour that can cause quite a few issues with downing those trees. So if you live in these areas, you really do want to take them seriously and try to stay inside, get away from the windows. If there are damaging winds that come over your house, the windows are like the first to go, and you definitely don't want to be near any of them. So really do take these warnings seriously. The one is, I think we still just have this one now that's out. So this one large area for that severe thunderstorm warning is out for until 10:15. Still tremendous amounts of lightning heading pretty directly far due to the east, but even areas in Houston County, you could get another quick downpour towards Peach and Macon County. Still have some downpours moving through there. That one is not severe, but still could be having a heavy downpour. But really this area, I-16 down to the south through Dodge County, Eastman, further to the west, lots of heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and especially that wind threat. That's going to be the really big issue. Here, let's see if we can pull up our Dublin camera. Getting a camera up could be a pretty good look. It might be too dark to see everything. Let me see if I can pull up the Dublin camera. It's going to say Mercer University, but this is Dublin, I promise. So it's not raining over Dublin right now. I think it might be a little too dark. Oh, well, that was pretty cool. Definitely some lightning that's happening out there right now. Let me see, maybe we could turn the camera towards that direction. Maybe we can get a good lightning strike out on here. Ooh. Wait, check this out if you're watching. Right there, that was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome. So that is in Dublin right now. If you live in Dublin, there's some storms that are heading your way. This is looking out over the northwest. So definitely want to be taking these storms seriously. Let me see if I can actually, let's keep this camera up for a little while if we can. I might actually try to change to the actual Dublin Super really quickly so that I can show you that it's from the right place. So this is looking out over Dublin. See if we can see any more of the lightning strikes that are out there. Definitely getting some lightning in the distance. Actually, I have a little bit of a funny story while we're talking about this. When I was home a few weeks ago for 4th of July, they had some storms around back home, and I was with my mom and her best friend, and the storms were out over the distance, and they were saying, oh, look, Ryan, since they know I'm a meteorologist, they're like, look, there's some heat lightning there out in the distance. And I said, you know, that's not a real thing, right? And they're like, well, it's hot. It was hot and humid, so I mean, I guess it makes sense. You know, it's some heat lightning out there in the distance. It's not raining over us, but we're looking out over here and we're seeing that lightning. Heat lightning is not heat lightning. It's from an actual thunderstorm that's just out off in the distance. It's not raining here in Dublin, but there's storms out in the distance that we can see several miles away. And it's not heat lightning, it's an actual thunderstorm that's producing lightning. It could be cloud to cloud to ground, but it's an actual thunderstorm that is producing that lightning. I think we need to tilt the camera a little farther to the west, or a little farther to the left at least. I think we're just missing some of these strikes. Tilt it a little bit further out there. Let's see if we can get any more of these storms to be firing out. Maybe see if I can pull off to the little bit to the side. See if we can get any that should come through. I will see them before they come through. Exactly out. So think, are we still missing them? They're still a little bit further out to the west. I don't know which direction they're in. Okay, this could be a good spot. I'm panning the camera a little bit farther over to the left again. Ooh, here comes a good shot. There's a pretty good one right here. Right there. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, so these storms are producing quite a lot of lightning. Really cool to see at night as well. But even in Dublin, if you live in this area, you still do want to download the WGXA SKYWATCH weather app. That's always the best thing to do. We have the radar there, temperatures. It even tells you if we have watches and warnings over your specific area, so you know any way of staying weather aware. It really does all the work for you, so you can just sit back, relax, and know that you'll be safe with that app. So this is pretty spectacular. Seeing some of this lightning over Dublin, let's leave this up for a few more minutes. Right now, Dublin, you are not into the severe thunderstorm warning, but these are thunderstorms out in the distance that are starting to enter into Lawrence County that have a history of producing some damaging winds, frequent lightning. Said that twice for effect. Wow, that was a pretty cool strike there. This is pretty crazy to see some of this stuff, especially at night. Kind of awesome, though, too. I think we'll leave this up for another minute or so. We could always come back to this as these storms are still going to be headed this direction. We'll be able to look at it for a little while. But this is definitely a pretty cool sight to see. All of these thunderstorms that are coming in. In Dublin, again, you are not under the severe thunderstorm warning at this time, but you may very well be as the storm has been holding up that's heading in your direction. You can even see it there out in the distance. Several lightning strikes that have been moving through. So this is definitely an active Friday night. We were under a level 2 risk for some severe storms. That means that we generally see scattered storms turn severe in terms of the amount, not the severity of the storms. But this one powerful storm that's moving through is definitely being very severe with that damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, potentially even up towards marble-sized hail. We are getting some issues of some storm reports coming in Lamar County. There's two. There was a tree limb down that took a power line out and caught tree on fire at Highway 36. That's closed right now, and they're waiting on a power company. So that one's pretty dangerous. That wasn't even a severe thunderstorm warning that moved through Lamar County, and they're talking about there being a tree limb down that took a power line down and caught on fire. So that's really why you really do want to take the severe thunderstorm warning seriously for damaging winds, as they can do that damage potentially even worse. There was also another tree down near a house with exposed power lines. So it really is a day to stay weather aware, and you want to take those warnings seriously for when these are issued, as they really could be causing some issues. So let's go back now to the radar to show you exactly what's going on. Once again, where some of the storms are moving through. Okay, so here's that. We do have some updates especially. So now this is still moving into portions of Bleckley County, southern Twiggs and Wilkinson County, northern Dodge County, Pulaski County. You are no longer in that warning. Still Hawkinsville. You're still getting a few rumbles of thunder, but also that western portion of Lawrence County. The second one they were watching over in Alabama, they have started to issue another warning that's heading towards Americus and Sumter County. Still not over you right now, but that is the next thing that we're watching on. But still got some scattering of some thunderstorms that are out there. Kind of have this arching line that's moving above Macon. So Macon, we could get another downpour here quickly through Wilkinson County, Jones County, Monroe County, Forsyth getting heavy downpours towards Crawford County and Roberta. You could get another storm that's moving your way as well. And even up towards Edenton in Putnam County, Jasper County, still getting some heavy downpours too. So it definitely is quite the active evening that's going on. Let's zoom in exactly for this. So this is the one severe thunderstorm warning that's still into effect until 10:15. So another 20 minutes of the storm likely will still be extended once again. And that next warning could include Dublin. So if you live in this area, know anyone that lives there, just let them know that there is a strong, severe thunderstorm that is heading their direction. They're not under the warning right now, but they very well could be as we get closer to 10:15, especially with the storm still holding to be pretty strong. Let's turn on the lightning so that we can really see what's still going on. So some of the heaviest downpours right now, we kind of have a little bit of a break towards Chester, but just north of Dudley along I-16, really can see that pocket of lightning over towards Danville. Down right now over Cochrane, you're getting absolutely hammered with the lightning. And now over towards Chester, moving towards Eastman, Cadwell, Rents, Dexter, all in the path of some of these strong storms. Over towards Perry now, where you had the severe thunderstorm warning, which has passed. There still is a second storm that could be brewing into your area with another heavy downpour before things begin to lighten up for at least a little while. But the big threat with this is really going to be for the wind damage. This could be causing quite a lot of damage right now. Let's see what some of the radar could be indicating. So we're right on top of the radar site right now. So we're kind of getting that shifting from the red to the green. The green means the wind's moving towards the radar site where the red is away. So as we're kind of getting closer and farther away, the colors are shifting. But this isn't any signs of rotation or anything. Let's see if we can get a few areas near this. So this is winds at 46 miles per hour. Near Danville has 18 miles per hour. Near Montrose, 31 miles per hour. District Path up to 20 miles per hour. That's like gate cheer. So we're just seeing that there is still potential for some of these strong storms to be firing up and through here with this area. Let me move a little bit further to the south. Really with the red colors, when you get towards the oranges and the yellows, that's generally a sign of some stronger winds. So this is near Dudley, up near 45 miles per hour still. Some strong winds are moving through Roland and near 30 miles per hour. So it definitely is a pretty strong storm that's moving through. And this one is into effect until 10:15. And we still have a strong thunderstorm that will impact portions of Twiggs County and Wilkinson County. So here's the new severe thunderstorm warning. This has been breaking off a little bit. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Now it does include Dublin. With that one storm that's moving through, we have this other cell that's in portions of Lawrence County and Wilkinson County, but then there's still this kind of line of storms that's moving now into Wilkinson County towards McIntyre. So over the past 2 hours or so, you see some of these storms that are kind of lining up heading in our direction. Still checking on the one storm, but especially this cluster. That's going to be the big spot for some damaging winds, and that could be directly headed over Dublin. So right now, if you live in Dublin, you really do want to take this warning seriously. Stay inside, get away from the windows. This storm that has some history of producing even some hail, but also some damaging winds, is headed right for your direction. So let's check with this storm specifically. Right over Dudley right now. This is kind of the heaviest lightning. Could also have some of the strongest winds. Right over I-16 here. Winds up to 50 miles per hour. 45. Also 45. So that could really be producing, that could down some trees very easily right along I-16, moving over Dublin again. So it just hit over 10 o'clock here too. That second warning for areas in Lawrence and Wilkinson County that we're looking at is until 10:30. And so we're going to continue to watch those. So this means also our rainfall totals will be updating here. Let's see if we can get them to actually update, or let's see if we can watch them update in real time, if they actually will give us anything. So they still haven't updated yet. It's 10 o'clock. We might want to give them 30 seconds for these to update. These update every hour on the hour, so at 9 o'clock they updated, 10 o'clock now, if at 10 they will update once again, and then again at 11, at midnight, 1, it goes on. It resets every day at midnight though. So we've got the max T, here we go. These should be updating here in the next 5 seconds or so. Let's see how the numbers, here we go. Some new updates. Covington, that's just north of Jasper County. Up to about 0.2 inches of rain. Not anywhere else has really gotten the heavy downpours within the last hour that have come through yet. So we'll have to see how that updates for the news at 11. Let's see how the wind gusts have updated. Nothing new quite here yet, so that's all right. So we still have that one strong storm. Let's take that live camera again. That was really awesome to see. So right now, let's pull up our camera over Dublin. So right now, Dudley, Dublin, you really do want to be in that safe area. Dexter, still over Danville. Portions of Wilkinson County, Kerry, Cochrane, Chester, all still in the path of some of these strong storms. So let's go back out here over Dublin. Let's see if we can see any more of these storms kind of firing up. I'm going to go get a drink of water really fast while we're looking at this. Looking out over downtown Dublin, I can see those storms off in the distance. The lightning strikes, pretty spectacular. Let's look at this for a minute or so. Yeah, pretty spectacular, exactly what's going on there. And we did just get new word from the National Weather Service again. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of southern Dodge, Telfair, southeastern Wilcox, southeastern Wheeler, southeastern Crisp, and south central Montgomery counties until 10:45. So even more storms are still firing up. We were talking today being a weather warned day for the heat, but definitely also for the storms, as we're getting quite a lot of activity here at 10 o'clock at night. It's currently 10:03 on Friday, July the 21st. Definitely still a very active day today. So that was pretty spectacular. Looking out over Dublin, you could see those lightning strikes there off in the distance. Let's check at the storm. Let's do a little bit of a wider view right now, kind of what's going on overall. So the storms are really beginning to fill in. We've got quite a lot of activity. Still not everywhere seeing the rain, but still some very active storms that are going on. This rain that's been in North Georgia is still sinking very slowly to the south and east. We are still getting a little bit of that clipping over Putnam and Hancock counties, but we're even getting bursts of energy that have been firing down through the mid-state. Over for Forsyth right now, you've been getting some of the rain now in towards Crawford County, towards Roberta, getting some of the rain. Perry, Kathleen, you were under that severe thunderstorm warning. Just have some few lingering showers that are now down towards Montezuma. A few rumbles of thunder over towards Butler. Still have a little bit of rain down to the south, down through Telfair counties, into Wilcox County, southeastern Crisp County, still getting the heavy downpour. But notice we still have this one cluster that I've been watching that's moving across the Alabama border that's now starting to head towards Sumter County, so you may get clipped. Portions of Americus and Plains could get some of these storms firing through that could produce the hail, the gusty winds, the downpours, the dangerous, damaging winds as well. And of course, we've got this big thunderstorm cluster that's moving pretty slowly still to the east, really about to impact portions of Dublin, but this is still heading towards Wrightsville, southern Wilkinson County, Danville, Cochrane, Cadwell areas, and Bleckley County too, all still getting hammered with the frequent lightning. Irvington, you're technically in this morning too, but especially here over Dudley, Montrose. What is the radar indicating potentially could be these hail? That is the time. The radar's indicating up to 4 inches of rain per hour, so that's that extremely heavy downpour. Just got the new radar loop that came in, still heading eastward. So this is, if I move this over a little bit, hearing some of the rain right now over the station. So here's Dudley. Here's that heavy, extreme downpour that could be producing very damaging winds, extreme amounts of lightning. There's Dublin. So this is headed almost directly towards the path of Dublin downtown. So this could cause a few issues, especially if it's going to come with some damaging winds or even some hail as well. Let's see what exactly the hail tracker is showing. There is still showing a pretty strong hail core here on the radar, potentially up to marble-sized, penny-sized hail. It's not necessarily up to quarter-sized hail, but could potentially even be producing that, and that could be heading right towards Dublin as well. Hopefully it's not having any hail or that it will miss this area. Let's check what the wind structure specifically of the storm is. This is really the most powerful area directly inside the storm right now. Okay, so here's that wind threat right now. You can see the red. This is the wind structure. Wind's moving away from the radar, and it's also getting some of that yellow. So it's really coming down with the winds here towards Harlow, 43 miles per hour, 49 miles per hour just north of Dudley, up to 53 miles per hour. Dublin isn't getting the wind quite yet, but it's about to be heading in that direction. So we've continued the severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge, Lawrence, and Wilkinson County. That seems really interesting. Let's check out the heavy downpours once again, the radar. So this is really the heaviest downpours right now, just north of Dudley. Zoom in on some roads here. This is Old Macon Road. If you live along here, you're absolutely getting hammered with the rain. This is the heaviest, moving towards 338. For some of that extreme downpours, but it's also coming with some pretty gusty winds at this point. Let's take it out on the wide shot now at this point, looking out over satellite and radar. This complex of storms we have been watching that was moving through Alabama, now into North Georgia, it has really fallen apart. So it's not one straight line of storms, but it's broken apart into a lot of strong, severe storms at this point that is moving through the mid-state. But looks like there's not a lot waiting in the wings, so this should be quieting down through the overnight hours past 1, 2 o'clock, and then moving past into tomorrow. We still could have a few more downpours that could be moving through. So for the day tomorrow, we get the storms out of here, especially tomorrow morning. I think we will have some downpours and some rain, some thunderstorms. Well, I think this model is slightly overpainting the rain. We will have some scattered storms tomorrow morning that still could fire up again in the afternoon hours. Doesn't look to be a washout of a day, but it will be more active on Saturday than it will on Sunday. We'll get a few isolated showers and storms on Sunday, as this front is still paused out over top of us, but it still will have a little bit of some storms around for the day. But for right now, we're still dealing with some of these heavy downpours. Some of this rain, lightning, strong winds. So this one batch has now been kind of taken out. So areas in Bleckley County no longer under the warning. Still getting some pretty moderate soaking rain right now, but no longer in that severe threat. Still have this little sliver area in Dodge County that's technically still on the warning that could produce some hail or some damaging winds, and even up into Wilkinson County. But we're still watching, especially this cluster of thunderstorms that's in Lawrence County right now, just north of Dudley. This is heading pretty much almost directly due east, even a little bit to the southeast, right now over Dublin. So Dublin is about to get the worst of the storm. Turn back on the lightning. So here's kind of the lightning and that leading edge. Now it's going to be raining over Dublin. Some of that extremely heavy downpours. The red is pretty heavy downpours, but it's even higher than that. It's the purple. So that is the extremely heavy downpours. All of the lightning that's still out there over Dudley. And this is all sliding to the east along 16. Bruton also about to get that downpour. Let's see what it looks like outside again if we can. Don't think it's raining again. It's not raining yet at our camera, but notice, oh, it's beginning to rain at the camera. Notice it's shaking. Look at this tree down here. If we can get another good burst of wind, that was definitely coming through. I can see the tree whipping over a little bit. But if you live in Dublin right now, you really do want to get inside, stay away from the windows with that severe thunderstorm warning that is about really just knocking on your doorstep right now. We're starting to get some of the rain that's coming onto the camera lens, but maybe we can get a good another wind gust that pops up. Still seeing that lightning like we have for the last little while. But that's going to be the big issue here. We're still seeing a little bit of that wind gust there. So that's really going to be the big thing, as this is moving directly towards Dublin right now with that one severe storm that could be really producing some strong winds. That's the big threat right now with these storms, is you get the heavy downpours, you get those winds that are gusting up to 60 miles per hour, can down those trees, down the power lines, that can knock out your power and also cause quite a lot of damage as well. Still quite a lot of lightning in this area specifically. Luckily, areas to the south with that one severe storm that moved through has kind of weakened off, but this one cell that we're moving through has now begun to fire up again right now over Dublin areas, southern Wilkinson County, heading towards Wrightsville as well. So Johnson County, you're really next in the path of the storm. Also want to stay weather aware with the storm moving through. Kind of getting it right now, actually, with the storm extending out in your direction. This is headed more kind of towards the east and the southeast. So here comes that rain over Dublin. Starting to move over Dudley, beginning to exit out of the area, but moving over here. So let's kind of let's zoom in with this a little bit more. So this is southern Wilkinson County right now. Here's Nicholsville, Old Tombsboro Road. Right now, still in the heavy downpours, seeing some of that purple. So that's the heavy rain, strong winds up to 60 miles per hour. And let's look at some of the wind structure again. So here's some of the winds. Definitely is showing some indications of some heavy winds right now. This is potentially saying winds are up to 65 miles per hour in southern Wilkinson County, excuse me. This is Lawrence County. Here's the line between Wilkinson, Lawrence County. And that's producing winds up to 60 miles per hour. So that's definitely some damage that could be causing, especially out on the roads. So let's go down towards Dublin right now. Also seeing a little bit of the light colors, the yellow. Winds up to 55 miles per hour. There's Dublin. Industrial Road. Claxton Dairy Road, 319, I-16's down there, Moores, 48 miles per hour, 46 miles per hour. So it really is going to be a big wind threat here for the next little while with this storm. Just kind of taking a wider view out, looking at some of these things as well. Looks like we're getting some kind of rain wrapping with some of these storms, so that's definitely very interesting. But right here, where this yellowish red is, that's the heaviest winds right now, about to head into downtown Dublin. Hopefully this isn't going to cause extreme amounts of damage with these severe thunderstorm warnings that are going through. If you know anyone, especially that lives in downtown Dublin, you really do want to give them a call, tell them that they have a strong storm headed their way, and they really do want to take it seriously and stay inside. Here's East Dublin, Claxton Dairy Road again, Hillcrest Parkway, Moores is down there to the left, bottom left of the screen. There's downtown Dublin. And with the winds being up to 60 miles per hour, can down those trees and power lines. There hasn't been any storm reports coming in yet. Let's see if this is also producing some hail at all. This is still showing a pretty strong sign of some hail. The radar is indicating about a quarter-sized hail right now that could be moving through Dublin. So this is definitely not a good sign. If you live in this area, definitely want to stay inside. This could be producing up to about quarter-sized hail potentially with some of these storms. So this is an indication even that the storm could be even strengthening as it's heading further to the east here. When the hail normally gets bigger, the updrafts are stronger in a storm. The hail becomes bigger, collects more ice high up there in the clouds before falling out. So the radar showing larger hail size amounts could be an indication that this storm is growing in strength and intensity and could even be causing some extra damage, not only from the winds, but also from the hail as well. So that's definitely not a great thing to see. Some of this is very interesting. Let's go back out to the camera. This is something we definitely want to look at. Okay, so now it's definitely raining over downtown. You can see the camera shaking. So the winds are definitely pretty strong, especially up here on top of the building. You get the extra winds, those heavy downpours. Still don't see much of that tree moving down there, so hopefully the winds right down on the surface aren't going to be crazy. Even look out over this light. If you can look directly over here, you can see how heavy the rain's really coming down. You can see the lightning is flashing, the trees still waving out there in the wind. Right there over those lights, that's kind of the easiest way to see how much it is raining. It's definitely coming down, especially over that light. You definitely want to not be outside there. Pretty strong thunderstorm that's moving through. This could still be producing up to quarter-size hail potentially that the radar was showing. So this storm could be showing, or the storm could be producing that hail as well. Some pretty strong stuff that's happening out here in Dublin at the moment. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, so let's go out to that really fast. We'll come back to the storm as it continues to move over downtown Dublin. So they've continued to extend portions of this warning further up. A wider view out here right now, showing that still not everyone's getting hit by the rain, but especially areas east of Macon right now are getting that heavy downpour. There's still that other severe thunderstorm warning that's been pushing across the Alabama-Georgia line south of Columbus that could be impacting portions of Sumter County. But this is the one that's been extended now until 10:45. This is now for the portions of Lawrence County up towards Wrightsville. No, I'm okay. I got it over there. Thank you, though. And then this is Johnson County, Wrightsville. Now Washington County has been included in this as the storm is kind of combined with this one, and they're going to wrap up and go potentially up here in this direction, south of Sandersville. So that's what's happening. at this moment. So here's Dublin again, really getting it now. With that heavy downpours, let's see what some of the winds could potentially be moving through. We're still getting a lot of the yellows, so that's really that indication of the strong winds up to 60 miles per hour, 37 over Dublin, 50 just north of there, 57. Let's see where the radar is indicating there could be a hail core. Still showing that there could be that hail core that's headed right over Dublin. Hopefully this isn't the case and that there isn't any of that hail out there. Let's go back out to that camera because actually this camera is looking really pretty. I'm going to take another drink of water while we're looking out of this camera right now. It definitely is. It's coming down in Dublin right now. You are now under the severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take a drink of water really fast while we are out looking out over Dublin. Yeah, so it's definitely quite an active night still. Some of that rain, it's just been tremendously lightning. I'm sure it's incredibly loud here right now. But notice, especially with the lights, it's really the easiest way to see some of these heavy downpours that's moving through. Yeah, so it's definitely very loud right now over Dublin. We're really in the peak of this severe thunderstorm warning right now. Okay, so here's the radar loop once again. Let me try to take off some of this stuff. So here's what's going on. Still have some downpours that's moving through Crawford County as well, down towards 75 and to the east. That's really kind of the compartment of some of these heavy storms that are right now, especially through these severe thunderstorm warnings. We're still going to continue to watch this one as it still looks like it's sinking down towards Sumter County, towards Americus and Plains. But otherwise, some of the rain that was in North Georgia continues to move to the east, so that likely won't be coming down through our area. But it's definitely a very active night tonight with these severe thunderstorms. So they are now still watching. The National Weather Service is watching this one storm that's moving through. They haven't issued a warning yet, but they say a strong thunderstorm will be impacting portions of southwestern Macon, southeastern Marion, southwestern Stewart, Webster, Sly, and northwestern Sumter counties through 10:45. So that's not a warning, but it's watching this storm right here and for it to be coming down in this direction. So that's something that we'll have to watch. We'll have to see if it'll hold itself together for that to be further heading to the south and west. But besides this area over here near Dublin, not everyone is seeing rain or even a severe thunderstorm, just getting some more of the normal showers and storms that are out there. But really over Dublin right now, that's really where the heaviest is happening. So for these exact warnings, they have two kind of out there because they're anticipating this one to be moving through. So this first one, that's still for areas in Wilkinson, Lawrence County, moving right now over Dublin. So Dublin, you are in the big path of the storm right now. You are in the worst of it at this current time. Frequent lightning, heavy downpours, potentially quarter-sized hail, damaging winds right over you right now. This one specific polygon till 10:30, so that's about another 7 minutes or so. And then they have the secondary one already in place. That's for 10:45. That extends further to the east, further out through Lawrence County, Johnson County, Washington County, and still a little bit of Wilkinson County in there. And that one's until 10:45. So they're still watching this storm to be moving through. Is the radar still indicating some kind of hail? The radar is still indicating some kind of hail. That is over downtown Dublin. It's not as bad as it was a few minutes ago near Catlin. Here's 16,198. That could be producing some hail. So there might be some large hail that has been moving through areas in Dublin right now. Besides the heavy downpours, and the frequent lightning as well. Frequent lightning 2. So that's really what's going on. Still over Dublin right now. Looks like the winds are beginning to push out. The strongest winds now, that yellow color, starting to push further into Lawrence County towards Callan, Condor, Fruiton, further along 80. Dublin, now you're still in that severe thunderstorm warning. The radar is indicating that the winds have begun to die back down. So potentially the peak of the wind gusts are still out of your way, but you still have some incredible lightning, some very heavy downpours right now. Let's see if we can go back out on this thing. Our camera's really helping us out here to see what it's looking like. It doesn't look as bad. I feel like a few minutes ago when they may have had that peak wind gust over them, it looked like it was raining harder. Feels like I have a little bit of a clearer view, but it's still definitely coming down very hard. You can see this light. Usually the lights are the easiest to see how hard the rain could be potentially coming down at. So you can still see that there's very frequent lightning, so it's definitely very loud still over Dublin. As that severe thunderstorm warning continues, a little bit more activity is still going on. Let's go over some of the stronger storms right now that aren't severe warned at this point. So this is in Crawford County south of Roberta along 341. Very heavy downpours here, a few rumbles of thunder. Head a little bit farther to the north, not too much is going on. Potentially a bit of a moderate downpour, portions of Putnam and Jones County. Kind of skipping over the heavy downpour. Southern Lawrence County still getting some of the heavy downpour. Cadwell Rent's getting a moderate downpour a little bit further to the west, to the east, south of I-16. There's more of that red color, so that heavier rain there. In southern Dodge County towards Milan, got a cluster of a storm here. Some of Telfair County, just north of Jacksonville, west of Lumber City, 319. Probably hearing these rumbles of thunder still down here. Southern Wilcox County, Rebecca, south of Abbeville, but even a little bit of some more storms that are filling in towards Rochelle. They're moving to the south and east towards Abbeville. Shift this over a little bit more. Here's Cordele, Vienna. Kind of still have a few clusters around there towards 75. These are headed kind of down to the south and east. And here's this one storm that's moving through. This has been that severe thunderstorm warning that was moving across the Alabama-Georgia line, which has now begun to get closer to our viewing area. This is Sly County, Sumter County. Could be extending that severe thunderstorm warning into our area. Right now they don't have the warning. They just have a special weather statement that's out saying that this thunderstorm's heading right in this direction. Most likely will clip down here. Americans could get some of these rumbles of thunder your way too. If that holds together as a severe storm, that again could come with some damaging winds or some large hail also. So we still have those two warnings that are still out. That's going to be the big threat because that was a lot of activity. So still right now over Dublin, that's the worst of it. This is really the worst of that cluster right now. Dublin, right along 16, 319, 86, 29. This is that heavy downpours. Right behind it, so Dublin, you're almost out of the thick of the storms. You're still going to be under a warning, but when I was right behind it, the kind of reds fall more into the yellows and then into the greens. So things will be quieting down over the next 15 minutes. There's 1 second warning. This outer warning, this one ends at 10:30, so Dudley, you have about 2 more minutes left of that severe thunderstorm warning being over you before that's going to expire. But then the second one continues. So here's that, a little loop of the storms that are moving through. They're moving almost a little bit to the south, but basically directly due east, especially this one large cluster. That's kind of the heaviest right now. That's about to move out of Lawrence County, southern portions of Johnson County, and then through and out of our area. Whew, these storms are making me work though. let's go back out to that camera one more time. You can still see if there's much going on. We could potentially try to shift the camera view at this point, try to follow the storms as they move out. It's still, yeah, it's still definitely downpouring pretty hard here. It looks like the wind threat has really come down at this point. Notice the tree is not really shaking. The camera isn't shaking anymore, so the winds have really come down. This is at the ASOS station, winds up to 25 miles per hour sustained, so that's definitely pretty strong. Of a peak wind, of a wind gust of a wind that's coming through. Okay, so they have issued the extra warning now for that one that's moving out of Dublin, the rest of Lawrence County, and now moving further to the east. So let's see what that one looks like. That is for, so they've continued to issue this warning. So here's that one strong cluster right now. They're kind of tracking this one directly out eastward. So now this includes areas in Soperton. This still has areas in Johnson County, Trutland County, now moving out towards Swainsboro. So this is the next one that we're tracking. That's out till 11 o'clock. So areas in towards Soperton right now, Trutland County, also getting some of the impacts of this strong to severe thunderstorm. And that'll be moving out of our viewing area. But Dublin now right on the edge of it. Areas to the west, to the west of Dublin are now out of the warning. Still have some of that rain that's coming through, but especially right here, south in Dublin, over towards Soperton. That's all the heavier downpours that's going to be moving through. So let's go back onto a wider view just to kind of show you exactly what's still happening. So here's kind of that wider view again. So the good news is that that warning that was over here towards Sumter County and Americus, that has been allowed to expire. So this does not have any more damaging winds, but still has some extreme lightning strikes and very heavy downpours. It's going to get very loud over Americus here shortly. This cluster of thunderstorms that is still severe warning that could be producing that large hail, especially the wind threat. That's the big threat with these right now, is that wind is so strong that's going to be causing quite a bit of damage potentially. Downing the trees, the power lines could cause a lot of outages. There's even this cluster of storms that's beginning to fire up. There are areas in Pulaski and Wilcox County. Quite a few lightning strikes there too. Luckily, it's not a warning at this time. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. A few pop-up storms here. Looks like it's splitting itself apart a little bit. So Rochelle, Abbeville, Finlayson, Wallace, up towards Hawkinsville. You're all getting hit with some of these storms that are right now moving through, down towards Telfair County, Jacksonville, Cedar Park, Cobbville, 149, 117, getting in the path of some of these strong storms. Whew. All right, so let's see if this one storm again is producing much more hail. It looks like, let's see how this one storm is activating. It looks like Washington County, you aren't currently in the warning, but the storms look like they're headed more towards the east-southeast. So just to let you know with that, it looks like most of the storms are headed further down into Johnson County, and down towards Soperton and Trutland County, Dublin, just on that leading edge now of some of the heaviest downpours along 16. Look at this core right here. This is purple. This is the reflectivity of the radar. So this is just some extreme rain right here. Moving towards Oriana, which is over here just behind me, 29, here 16. Let's see what the radar could be indicating this rainfall rate could be. The radar is saying this could be upwards of 18 inches of rain per hour. That could be usually, I mean, that's just kind of absurd for it to say that. But that's just showing the potential of this one specific area in this purple here. That is really the strongest part of the storm that could be producing some very strong winds. Let's see, there could be also a pretty strong hail core with this. So here's the hail tracker. Yeah, the hail along 16 here in Lawrence County, potentially up to quarter-size hail once again, just north of 16. It moved through Catlin, moving down further to the south and east. That'll be out of our viewing area. And then this is all heading into portions of Shrewtland County. So that's in your direction towards Soperton. Here's that one track that I was just looking at with that heavy downpour and that hail core moving directly along I-16 and then further down towards Soperton. Moving pretty much almost directly due east, so it's headed kind of this direction, but you're still going to get some of these heavy storms too. And then we still have this one warning out, these two warnings that are still out here. Let's see if we can flip the camera around on the Dublin camera, because now that the storm has moved through, oh, that's quite a big lightning strike that just came through. Let's see if we can flip this camera around a little bit to watch the storms kind of exit. Trying to watch some of these storms move through. There was a good strike. I think we just need to move over a tiny bit more. It's a little hard to see. Am I still missing it? Oh, I don't know what direction it's going. It's a little hard to see here at night. Definitely getting a lot of the flashing lights, the lightning strikes. Let's see if we can get a good strike coming out of here. It looks like it should be further over behind me towards the right, but I feel like last time I went over there, I went in the other direction. So let's move it over here further to the right and see if we can find anything. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Washington and Wilkinson County, now only for areas in Johnson and Lawrence County, for potentially quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to about 60 miles per hour. So that's going to be still the biggest threat with that. Washington and Wilkinson County are now out of this. Wow, the lightning is just crazy right now over Dublin. It is incredibly loud there, I'm sure. All right, let's get back out to the radar then to see those new warning polygons. So specifically with these new warnings, Wilkinson and Washington County are now out of this. So here's that one polygon right now. This is Lawrence County, Johnson County, Wrightsville. This is down towards Soperton and Shrewtland County. You're about to get hit with some of these heavy storms. Could produce that quarter-sized hail or the damaging winds also. Moving through, besides that, just the extreme amount of lightning that has been moving through Dublin right now, and the heavy downpours too. And this second one is in place until 11 o'clock. This one's until 10:45. So we are coming up on the 11 o'clock news on ABC 16. So we will continue to track the storms out for then. That's really the big issue that's going on though with some of these heavy winds. Let's take a wider view out once again and kind of just bring it all back into perspective. It's 10:38 right now, Friday, July the 21st. This is the current radar loop that we've got going on. A few areas are still getting some heavy downpours besides the severe thunderstorm warning. Still in portions of Pulaski, Wilkinson County down towards Telfair County, south of McRae, Lumber City, Jacksonville, heavy downpours. And then this specific cell that was moving across Alabama and Georgia is now starting to knock on its doorstep into Sumter counties as well as Sly counties. Towards Americus, even Butler could get swiped with some of the more moderate rain. Even could still be getting a little bit more further north into Jones, northern Baldwin, southern Putnam counties. So it definitely is an active evening. Hopefully this is really the last batch that'll be moving through. Hopefully this won't be severe either. So that'll be something that is something that we're watching for tomorrow, as the front is going to be stalled over top of us. So tomorrow will still be another active day. Don't think it's going to be quite as active what we're getting with tonight, but still could produce some strong gusty thunderstorms tomorrow as well, or even lingering around to Sunday. But Sunday will be the driest of the 2 days for the weekend, but still will have a few isolated storms that'll fire up and through. So new wording from the National Weather Service. They say strong thunderstorms will impact portions of southwestern Dodge, central Telfair, and southern Wilcox counties through 11:15. No warnings with those, just some strong general thunderstorms. And still this really heavy one that's moving through right now. Dublin, you're almost in the clear at this point. Most of the rain has now, most of the lightning at least, has moved out. Notice here, look at this, look at the pink on this radar. That was that hail that really moved through. Just north of Dublin, moved down. We'll have to see if that really caused a lot of damage. So that could be potentially that hail core that we were watching when it said that there was quarter-sized hail. Kind of can see the pink again pop up right around here. And then continuing to push further to the south and east. So right now, it's now beginning to knock on the doorstep of Treutlen County towards Soperton. Here's Gillis Springs, Adrian. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, all is heading our way with potentially damaging winds, knocking down trees and power lines. Definitely want to take these seriously. They've been packing a punch over the past several hours. Started in Houston County, moved all the way through Lawrence County, now is beginning to exit further to the east. This is really the edge of our viewing area out of Soperton. That's when we kind of lose our area. Then this is up towards Johnson County, and then there's Lawrence County towards Dublin. This one lasts until 10:45. So this specific one near Dublin into Lawrence, Johnson County is in place until 10:45. This other one is until 11 o'clock. Whew. So this first one, that's going to be expired in about 4 minutes. Most of it is just rain at this point. Still have quite a few rumbles of thunder, especially down south and east of Dublin, but Wrightsville at this point, just getting some heavy downpours and a few rumbles of thunder. They still could be causing some damaging winds, but it looks like most of the wind threat is probably out at this point. If we look at the wind specifically, most of the winds have been beginning to exit down towards Kite. Usually when we get these brighter yellows, that is the heavier winds that are moving through. So here's kind of the southern portions of Johnson County right here. There's Lawrence County, the line of Lawrence County. Then down here is Treutlen County. Notice though, especially down towards Soperton, the winds are really picking up. This is right along I-16, winds of about 60 miles per hour. There's that latest, that's the latest radar loop, 55 miles per hour right here. 62 just north of Zadie. Click it right near Soperton, up to 50 miles per hour. So Soperton, if you live in this area especially, you also do want to be taking shelters, getting away from the windows. Take these warnings pretty seriously. They're producing some strong, powerful, potentially damaging winds at this point. All right. The watch also has been expanded for a few more counties just because we're getting some of those in the area. We did have a severe thunderstorm watch that was set in place around 6 o'clock. That's one's in place. At this point, it's only for these counties. So this is some great news, is that the rainstorms that are still impacting other areas besides really over into this cluster of storms that are severe right now, looks like most of the storms won't be severe for the rest of tonight. So that is really some great news that we really like to hear. Hopefully when this batch moves out further over to the west, it loses its energy, and then these counties will also be allowed to get canceled at this point as well. Hopefully that'll be the case, because that means the severe weather threat will be almost zero for the rest of tonight. But these areas specifically that we're watching through right now, it's going to be that active time to watch. Let's see if we can go one more look out for Dublin. Oh, the camera has so much water on the lens. We're still getting quite a few rumbles of thunder and lightning there out over the distance. see if we can get a little bit more. The winds have calmed down. This was up to 25 miles per hour. I think the temperature was also in the 80s, so now it's in the 70s. So getting that rain-cooled air too. Still a very active evening that's going on. But luckily things will be cooling down. So we have about 15 more minutes until the 11 o'clock. I think we are going to, I may just want to end the live stream here so that we can get ready for the news at 11 on ABC 16. If you want to tune in, I'll be continuing to cover these storms as they continue to move out. But right now, especially Soperton in Treutlen County, you're in the bullseye of the storm right now, the heaviest part of it. Even southern Lawrence County, right along I-16, still getting frequent lightning. It's heading away from Dublin now. Still have about another 30 seconds left for this warning back here to be canceled. So hopefully that one should get canceled. And then it's extending into portions of Treutlen County near Soperton, especially for Johnson County. Also, most of the threat is gone at this point, so there that goes. So now it's just for Soperton. There is a little bit left here for portions of Johnson County right here as this is exiting. And still a little bit of Lawrence County as well, with a little bit of this activity left behind. But especially for right now for Soperton, still do want to take shelter from the 15 minutes with these storms that could be producing the heavy downpours, that damaging winds, or potentially quarter-sized hail. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready for the 11 o'clock. I will have an update in 15 minutes on ABC 16. Definitely tune in. We'll continue to track these storms, and I'll also tell you what the weekend will be looking like. For now, though, thank you so much for watching with us. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream back here so we can get ready for the 11 o'clock news. Otherwise, if I don't talk to you all for the rest of the weekend, stay weather aware for the rest of tonight. Tomorrow will still be a little active, and we will be watching again for a few more storms. Otherwise, join us for a full report on ABC 16 on WGXC News at 11. Otherwise, have a great night.